Hi everyone and welcome to this replenishing yoga flow. So this class is going to be a vinyasa flow, but we're going to take things a little bit slower. If you haven't practiced with me before, it's ideally how I love to practice the most, being just a little bit more aware of the body and taking things a little slowly. We are going to get started today in a Supine. So if you want to grab hold of any props or blocks that you might need, bolsters, anything to make you feel that little bit more comfortable, feel free to now. And we're just going to come down towards the mat. So just starting with feet kind of hip distance apart, lowering the back down super slowly, and then taking soles of the feet together and dropping knees out to the sides. So if this feels super harsh or like it's a little heavy straight at the start of practice, you can feel free to pop cushions underneath each of the knees. If it feels really heavy, you might just take restorative rest, so taking feet a little bit wider than hip distance and then dropping knees together. But whenever you get here, just settling in, closing down through the eyes and taking hands maybe to the thighs and just taking a wiggle. So you might want to just move through the shoulders. Maybe you pick up the hips and just place them back down. Maybe it's just adjusting where the feet are. So just doing anything to help you get that little bit more comfortable and then closing down through the eyes as we start to find stillness. As we start practice, just noticing the breath, so being aware of the inhale and the exhale as we breathe. We're going to be working today with this idea of refilling the cup. So in yoga we have our yamas and niyamas, and one of our yamas is asteya, so non-stealing. We want to focus today on bringing that energy back into the body, replenishing that energy. So just as we lie here, you might scan over the body. Notice if there's anywhere where you're feeling any tension. And just see if you can send the breath to those parts of the body that need an extra bit of love. So maybe it's the hips. Maybe the hips are feeling particularly tight. Maybe it's the shoulders, the back. So as we breathe here, just opening through the body. So you're imagining that breath coming in as you breathe in. As you exhale, just sending that breath to where it needs to go. Maybe even taking a releasing breath, so breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then slowly, when you're ready, wherever you are, using hands to help you if you're in the Supta Baddha, just drawing knees back together and drawing them in towards the chest. So you're noticing the lower back, kind of lumbar spine grounding towards the earth. It's being aware of all of those parts of the body that are connected down towards the mat. You might take just a rock here, side to side, hands on the knees. And then taking legs just up into the air, arms as well, taking a roll through the wrists, through the ankles. Maybe you flex the feet, point the toes. Just taking some gentle movements and taking hands behind the knees and seeing if we can start to just roll up towards seated. So you might take a few rolls, just noticing spine against the mat and slowly coming up, maybe using those hands to help you and coming into a cross-legged position. From here, taking those hands onto the knees and just starting to wake up through the upper body. So inhaling, drawing shoulders up towards the ears. As we exhale, just drawing them back, taking that gaze forwards. And taking a few of these, really scrunching shoulders up towards the ears. As we exhale, just opening through the chest as shoulder blades roll down. So we inhale here, just drawing arms up this time. Really reaching through the fingertips as if you're growing that little bit taller first thing in the morning. Exhale, palms come down through Heart Center and Jali Mudra. We're pushing those hands together. This time, just taking left hand down towards the side of the mat as we inhale, drawing right arm up and over, just taking that gaze up towards the right hands. We're taking that nice side stretch, getting that opening through the right side of the body. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, just changing over sides, so the right hand comes down to the floor for support. Left hand sweeps up and over, gazing up towards that left hand.
Really spreading out through the hands, spreading out through the fingertips, starting to activate through the body. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, just drawing back through center. And then using those hands to come down towards the mat. So just going to roll the hips out from under us, take the knees back and come into a tabletop. So taking a moment here to notice your tabletop. Hands are shoulder distance apart, knees hip distance apart. So we're stacking everything underneath. And just taking a second to tap out through the feet. Just tapping out through the feet, taking that gaze forwards, and then tucking under the toes and pushing back. So we're pushing down through the hands. So again, noticing that grip on the mat. Hands grounding down, pushing into the backs of the feet. Only going as far as feels comfortable. Taking an inhale here and then drawing up, releasing toes. You might tap the feet out again. And then starting to take the hands back towards you. So fingertips come towards you, so forearms are kind of facing the front of the mat. And we allow our hips to rock back just slightly, so we're getting a stretch out through the forearms. So just taking that focus to each part of the body as we move here. When you're ready, padding those fingertips back towards the front, and then just taking some circles, so rocking the hips around to the right, they draw back almost as if we're kind of coming into a semi-child's pose, and then we roll back round, so coming towards the front of the mat. So taking a few of these circles and taking them slowly. So inhale as we start to draw those hips back. Exhale as we draw them back round to the front. And when you've taken a few, just going the other way. So hips around to the left, drawing back towards the heels, and then coming back up towards the front of the mat. So just taking a few. And you can close the eyes here, really just notice how that movement feels for the body. It's not about how this looks, it's about how it feels. And there's no right or wrong way, so maybe you take a pause with the hips back, allow the hips to sway from side to side. Just allowing this movement to be intuitive for you, so really asking what you need from the practice and responding. It's how we're filling the cup. We're asking if there are any places where the cup might feel a little bit low or a little bit empty, and filling them up through this movement, so really just responding. When we're ready, coming back through neutral, tucking underneath the toes, we're going to lift off the knees, hips draw up and back, just coming into our first downward facing dog. And again here, doing the same as we did with the feet from before. So as we inhale, drawing up onto the toes, as we exhale, drawing the heels back. So just getting a feel, feeling into that grounding. Grounding down, heels don't have to come all the way back, it's just an idea of where they're going. Maybe you take a bend through the knees. And then slowly we're going to start to tiptoe the feet up towards the hands, taking a really big generous bend through the knees, allowing head to hang heavy. Hands come to opposite arms, coming into our Uttanasana, forward fold. And just take the weight from feet to feet. Feet to feet, from foot to foot. So as you sway here, moving over towards the right, rocking the weight into the right foot, and then rocking your weight into the left. Just rooting down. When we're ready, next inhale that we find, just starting to draw up vertebrae by vertebrae, again moving slowly. Arms reach up overhead. As we exhale, hands come down through heart center. Again, those palms pushing together. Starting to build some heat, some warmth through the body. We inhale, draw those arms up again. As we exhale, soft forward fold, Uttanasana. We inhale, draw up halfway, so hands come to the shins or the knees, back is straight, gaze is forwards. Exhale, cascading down. We inhale again, draw up. Exhale, fold down, knees bent. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folds down again. Inhale, starting to draw up all the way, Tadasana. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, coming into a sun salutation now, so arms coming up. Exhale, forward fold, bend through the knees. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, this time the hands are going to come down, plant, find space on the mat. We're going to step or jump back, finding a high lunge. Exhale, drop the knees, untuck toes, lowering chest down towards the floor. As we inhale, we lift up through the head, up through the chest, baby cobra, finding that opening. Exhale, tuck under toes, draw everything back, downward facing dog. Take a breath there. So maybe you take a releasing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Next inhale that we find, stepping or jumping towards the front of the mats. We lift up halfway. Exhale, release down, Uttanasana. Inhale, this time we're going to bend through the knees, draw the arms up towards the sky, coming into our Utkatasana. So we're dropping down through the hips, feet hip distance apart. Taking gaze up towards the hands, not long here. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, hands come down, stepping or jumping, feet back. Taking our vinyasa, so from plank, either coming down to baby cobra as we just did, or coming through your chaturanga. Inhale. Taking baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, toes tuck under, draw back, downward facing dog. Next inhale that we take, right leg is going to sweep up behind us. We're going to take a bend through that right knee and see if we can rotate the right knee out towards the side. So we're just opening through the hip. So sending that breath, if you can, down towards the hip space. Taking one big inhale here. As we exhale, stepping right foot to the outside of the right hands, we're coming into lizard. You've got both of the hands to the inside of the right foot. Pushing down through that foot as we inhale, right arm is going to sweep up towards the sky, coming into an easy twist. So taking that gaze up towards the right hand, really extending through fingertips. Breathing in here. Exhale. Drawing this right hand down, we're going to just move the right foot in towards the center line. Right hand frames the foot. Drop back knee down, untuck toes. Inhale, draw up. Low lunge. As we exhale, hands coming down through heart center, we're engaging through that core, just seeing if we can sink that a little bit deeper. And just taking a pause here in that low lunge. So maybe you keep hands at heart center. Maybe you take an interlace over that right knee. Just staying with the breath. Taking one more inhale. Exhale, just placing those hands down, framing the foot. We tuck under the back toe, step right foot back, coming back to that plank, and we move through our vinyasa. So coming down knees and chest, or your chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Taking that gaze forwards. Exhale, tuck under toes, draw it back, downward facing dog. We move through to the other side. So this time as we inhale, left leg is going to sweep up behind us. Taking a bend through that left knee, seeing if we can rotate out towards the side. Shoulders staying where they are. So we're just opening through the hip. Big breath in here. Exhale, stepping that left foot to the outside of the left hand, coming into that lizard. We've got the toes tucked, left foot grounding down. And the next inhale that we find, pushing down through that right hand. Inhale, drawing up through the left. Gaze up towards the fingertips. Feeling that opening here. Breathing in. As we exhale, we're going to just move that left foot in slightly more towards the center line. Frame the foot, drop the back knee, untuck back toes. Inhale, lift up. High lunge, or low lunge even. Exhale, hands coming down through heart center, allowing that stretch to just get that little bit deeper. So we really want to, when we're doing any sort of lunges, we want to really lift up and activate through the core. We're pushing down through the feet, so we find that lift as we come in, and as we exhale, we maybe allow ourselves to sink that little bit deeper.
Few breaths here. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come down to frame the foot, tuck under the back toes, stepping left foot back, high plank, working through your vinyasa, knees and chest, or your chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck under toes, draw the hips back, downward facing dog. And then from here, dropping knees down, untucking toes, allowing hips to draw back, just coming into a child's pose. The arms are reaching forwards, finding just a rock from side to side. And again, we want to come back to that idea of replenishing, of building that energy back up. So if it feels like a lot to have those arms stretched in front, see if maybe you can just draw the hands back towards the head, draw elbows out towards the side, find a little bit more space for the shoulders. Might be that you take hands behind you, so palms facing up towards the sky. So we have a little play here through our child's pose. Notice where works for you. Maybe the body's calling for that little bit of movement. Maybe it's calling for stillness, so just being aware. Just taking one more inhale here. Exhale when we're ready, just starting to draw up, coming into kneeling, and just taking some movement through the spine. So it might be that you take the knees a little bit wider. And from here, just starting with hands on the knees, we're going to lift up through the chest. So almost as if we're taking that drishti gaze up towards the sky. And then we're going to round through the spine, allow head to hang heavy. So hands might start to slide to help with this movement. So as we lift through the chest, you might slide those hands up the thighs, taking the gaze up as we round, finding that curvature through the back, allowing head to hang heavy. Hands might slide down to the knees. So just using the hands to kind of help you with that movement. And again, moving at your own speed. So really matching the inhale and the exhale to the movement. And that's really what our vinyasa practice is, practicing with the breath, allowing for placement of the body in time with the breath, finding that fluidity. Taking just one more inhale. One more exhale, rounding. And then as you come back up through neutral, just using hands to help you. Come down to find a seat. So just scooching forwards if you need, allowing back to come down slowly. And we're going to take the left knee in towards the chest and then take the right leg up as well and see if we can take the right ankle onto the left knee. So when we've kind of found that position, we want to start flexing through both of the feet. Now it might be if this feels pretty intense, it feels pretty deep, it might be that you take the left foot down towards the floor and you just pause here. So that's where we're going to find that rest, find that position. If you do feel like deepening, flexing through both of the feet, and maybe you take an interlace of the hands around that thigh and just draw the thigh in slightly. So releasing the head down and just a gentle tug of those legs in towards you. Staying with that breath. Gently just releasing those hands now. I'm going to find the other side, so just switching over, left ankle coming onto the right knee, and maybe again that right foot is just down on the floor, or maybe you start to flex through those feet, interlace around that right thigh and just draw in towards the chest.
Just one more breath here. Exhale, gently release. And then drawing both knees in towards the chest, and we're just going to come into a supine twist. So taking arms out into a T or a cactus shape, and dropping just both of the knees over towards the left. And maybe you take the head over towards the right, seeing if we can keep that right shoulder grounded towards the floor. And just taking 3 deep breaths here. So as we breathe again, thinking about this idea of refilling the cup, replenishing energy. So really just sending the breath down as we inhale through all parts of the body. One more breath in. Exhale, head comes back through center, knees come back through center. You might take a second just in neutral, and then just coming to the other side. So knees both dropping over to the right, head dropping over to the left. Seeing again if we can keep that left shoulder grounded. 3 deep breaths here. One more inhale. And then gently rolling head back through center, drawing knees back up into the chest. And our options here as we start to move towards Savasana are to take the legs back into that Supta Baddha Konasana position, so soles of the feet together, knees open wide. And if you feel like opening through the upper body as well, option to mirror here through the arms, so taking arms behind you. Maybe hands just on top of one another, elbows out to the side. Finding a comfortable position for the head, so it might be that the head isn't straight, it might be that you've got the head over towards the right. And just starting to allow the body to feel really heavy here. Closing down through the eyes. And again, if this feels like too much, being really aware in your practice of where feels good for you. So if you want to take a traditional Shavasana, taking the legs out long, arms down by the sides of the body. If you want to curl up on the side of the body, maybe even roll onto the belly. Really always asking yourself, what would feel best for me? This is our period to rest, reset, restore. So it's all about just asking for what you need through the practice, responding through that movement. Just coming back to the breath here, noticing rise and fall of the belly. Sensations through the body. And I invite you here to just scan over again. So the same way we scanned at the start of practice, we checked in, we noticed if there was any tension anywhere. Just scan over the body. So from the crown of the head, moving through, eventually reaching those outermost edges, so fingertips, toes. Being really aware. And as we breathe, maybe we almost imagine the body as if it's filling up with all of this energy, this prana. Maybe we imagine it as some kind of liquid, like a gold liquid, starting to fill, almost as if we're colouring in each of the limbs as we breathe. Sending the inhale to where it's needed. Next inhale that moves
moves through the body, taking a gentle wiggle through fingertips, toes. If you're here with me, just starting to move the hands, maybe you take the head over to the other side and then use the hands to just draw knees back together if they're open. Draw knees in towards the chest and just rolling over onto one side, taking your time. Few breaths here. And then slowly making your way up towards seated. And keep the eyes closed for a second. And as we arrive here, you can drop the chin down through chest, just taking a moment of gratitude. So we thank ourselves for finding the time to come to the mat, for finding the time to practice. And we thank the amazing lineage of teachers that have come before us. So just taking palms together, thumbs towards the third eye, nice big inhale. Exhale, release those hands, gently fluttering open eyes, just coming back to the space. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed the class, please give a like or subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you practice